Right, this is the before of the Mark 6 to Mark 7 front end conversion on my Transit. As you can see, really grubby. And here is, I'm hoping, everything I'm going to need to do it. Right. First part I'm going to get off is this older bumper. Mine was bodged on the wing there. There should be a fix in behind there. I just had a nut and bolt through mine. And we've got 4 bolts there and there. Might be some behind the number plate, I haven't checked yet. And there'll be a fix in behind here, which I've still got to check out. I'll start getting all those unbolted and we'll go from there. That's the bumper off. Behind your wing there's a bracket that holds that on. Unfortunately mine was rotten. You can see there, it would have been a T40, but mine was so bad I couldn't undo that. It just tore the metal around it. Not a problem for this one because it's all being replaced anyway. Gonna make my life easier doing this side now. Taking all the airbox out of the way so we can get to the back of the lights. There's, I believe, 3 or 4 10mm bolts on the back of the headlight to get them out. We've got one there, and the others are accessed from behind it. Passenger side, you're going to struggle for hand room. Driver side, airbox out of the way, nice and easy. We'll get them headlights out and then we should be able to remove the wings and bonnet. And this front panel, we'll have a little look, see what the rot's like underneath. Alright, get the airbox out, and I'm going to split this one in half to give myself a bit more access room. Got a Jubilee clip at the top of the intake pipe, another one down there beside the turbo. I've already undone these just to make the video quicker. I'll take that one off. This pipe comes off. This snorkel there, I'll make sure you refit that because that will make all the rainwater sit on your chassis rail if that's not diverting it away. It drains from the scuttle and it will sit in this groove, rot your chassis out in no time. So make sure you put that back on afterwards. 2 clips on the front of the airbox, put them out of the way. That section off. Air filter out. And we've got an 8mm screw on the panel here for the snorkel that feeds it. Take that one out. Don't lose that, we'll need that later. And that pipe comes out, that feeds from behind the grille. And the box itself is just held in with a little couple of pegs that just push into rubber bungs. Lift it up front and rear, it should pull out with a little bit of resistance. And there we go, that's that out of the way. Yeah, you can see there we've got a little bit of rust to deal with around the bungs that hold the airbox in. And that inner wing, lucky enough we're getting rid of that inner wing to put the Mark 7 one on. I'll have to get that a little bit on the pillar there, but that will be this side. Right, while we've got you here, we just have a look round. Pop the light there to get your headlight out. Got one bolt down there, one just below the plug. I think there's one up the top there that I can't see from this angle. I'll get them out and then I'll show you with it off the van. That's all our bolts undone on the headlight. Now we've got 2 plugs to take off. We've got one there which is your main light loom, and one over this side for your indicator. And that is that headlight free. I'm going to chuck that on the back of the truck. Next job is to get this wing off, which is 3 bolts along the top You've got one behind there. This can be done with a bumper on if you're just changing a wing. Come in from the back. And behind the mirror, you've got one there and one just down there above the hinge. There should be a fixing on this bottom corner. Mine right out on this, but that's what we're here for, to replace all that. Let's get these off and go from there. Here's all my bolts out the wing. That lifts away there. Look. One clip in there into the indicator to undo. And we need to remove this indicator. So there's a little tab there that we push in. So it's difficult to do one-handed. And twist it clockwise to pop that out. And we just unclip that from the back there. Off of that, and that is that wing free. Yeah. Bit of rot on that inner panel there, which isn't the end of the world. Bit around the front, which we're going to be sorting out anyway. We're replacing this outer arch at the same time. So all in all, this doesn't look as bad as I was expecting. Okay, to get a bonnet off, 2 bolts either side, and that is it on these. Bonnet stay will be attached to the panel there. I'm going to need 2 hands to do this, so next part of the video you'll see this will be done, and I'll have the wing, well, both wings, both headlights out, and we'll be removing the front panel. Okay, now we can start getting this front panel off. Looks like we've got 2 bolts on the top there, 2 in behind the headlight, both sides. So we'll buzz them off, and hopefully that should free off this front panel. Oh, on the driver's side, we only had 1, but there seems to be some sort of adhesive that didn't come off there, unless I've missed a bolt, which is quite likely this one that goes through the bonnet stay. Just undone it from 2 on the inner wing there. So it feels all free. Holding the top of the rad in, that's what these rubber bungs are coming through. The fuse box bracket to undo, and then it looks like that should be free. Okay, so that's the fuse box bracket undone, and it looks like now we should be able to just lift this out of the way. No, we've got one more bolt here holding the locking mechanism on, not the bonnet catch. Let's just get those quick. Okay, so those 4 bolts there that were holding the bonnet catch are undone. Lift that away. You can see it is now starting to get quite bare. Just got the scuttle panel will be the next thing that'll take off there. Maybe those plastic arch liners. Then while I've got access, what I'm going to do is just slacken off the door hinges so that I can make sure that all the panel gaps around there are nice and even. Then that should give me a good basis for getting the wings on straight, because at the moment we've got nothing to line them up from other than the front edge of this door, and if the door's not straight we're not going to get anywhere. So we'll get the scuttle off, which is several of these little T20 or T25 bolts. I've already taken the wipers off this one. 2 15mm nuts, like 1 on each. We'll do that, pull the A-pillar trims off, and that should expose even more metal for us to start cutting away at. That's the scuttle now out of the way. Next to this gully, this rainwater channel, which diverts all your water off your windscreen straight down there through the channel and onto your chassis rails. Hopefully this upgrade's going to get rid of that problem for us. So this one comes off with a few 10mm all the way along there. We'll whip them out, take that bit off, and then we can start measuring up for the new scuttle. There's all the bolts out. That little wiggle. hanging on to something under there. Not sure what yet. Ah, there we go. I've missed a couple. There's an 8mm there in that channel. Right, that's that undone. Give that another try. There we go. Take that off. Lovely. I think we'll get these bonnet hinges off as well while we're at it. While we're under here. Once I can figure it. There we go. Look. 2 little bolts in the corner each side. Those bonnet hinges will come out, ready for the new ones, which are somewhere over there in that heap. Well, there's definitely no going back now. You can see we've got a little bit of rust on this bottom edge. Nothing too drastic, that's all being cut out. It's all the front end removed, other than the bits that we need to cut off with the grinder. And see how bad this is. And this is purely just trapped. Sorry, this here is just purely trapped water. So what I'm going to do now is just use an airline, blow all the rubbish off that I can, get some brake cleaner and some thinners, wipe down everything so that I can see how bad the rust is. Then I know where I'm chopping out. And yeah, all this rubbish out of the way. And we should have this in a state where I can start working on it then and putting things back together. Time to make a start getting all these spot welds drilled out. Get these 2 front panels off. I'm just going to drill out all the spot welds on this top panel. Don't know if you can see these on the camera, but like all along that seam there. There's a few over this bit. So I'm going to take them off so that top section's removable. This one I'll have to cut down just so that I can see where everything is. But we'll put the scuttle in before we start aligning anything, so we know how much more we've got to cut back. I'll get these drilled and then come back to you. Okay, that's the other one with the spot welds all drilled out. This is me donor panels, top and bottom piece. As you can see, that's just held on with mole grips. I've put a self-drilling screw in there and there so that I'm roughly lined up. Now this is me cut down scuttle from the mk7, which I've removed the back half from, because at that line there it goes underneath the windscreen. See where that's all been cleaned up? That we're doing the windscreen sealant. I'm not taking my windscreen out to do this conversion today. I'll do that another day when I put the heated one in. So what I've done, we take the original panel there, which is like this, hangs down about 2.5–3 inches. Trim that back to just in front of the lip. There's a piece of metal that's welded to underneath, so you've got 2 layers. We're just trimming the top layer back so it goes just level with that bottom layer. And then hopefully I'll be able to just weld this donor panel on. I'll be using the old spot welds that were drilled out of the donor van to line it up on here, clamp it together, then I can start getting some tacks in it. Obviously once I've got a couple of tacks in the side there, scuttle tacked in, and the other side, then I'll hang all the wings in, wings, bonnet, that sort of thing, make sure it fits nice. And assuming that it all does, I'll take the bonnet and wings back off, like if we've got some good panel gaps, then weld everything fully, make sure I've seam sealed everywhere, anywhere that water can get, it's got to be protected. And yeah, then reassembly. We'll get all the wings and bonnet on for the second time, and start working downwards towards the slam panel, bumper and headlight panels. Okay, I'm going to finish cutting out this panel here and then get this clamped into place, see how it looks. If we're somewhere close and I can clean it up, we'll go on from there and I'll show you that bit. Alright, that's the scuttle welded in. So I've just welded through the spot welds on the donor one. Looks like the wing's going to line up quite well. Give that a little tweak to get it perfectly lined up before we start welding. As you can see, all the pieces are in place. Rust has been scrubbed back. We'll put some treatment on that, and then that'll be that bit sorted. Yeah, the next part of the plan is get this bit, make sure it's all aligned perfectly, and start getting some weld on this part as well. Alright, this is the driver's side. I've tack welded it. We've got the wing in place, just testing for fit, make sure everything lines up where it's meant to. Put the headlight support in there, same thing, just checking it all lines up. I'm going to do the other side and get the slam panel on, test fit the bonnet, and assuming everything lines up nicely, we'll get everything welded, and then we can bolt it all on and be like as a permanent fixture. And here we go. Here's the inner wings and the supports fully welded, the scuttle fully welded. All those spot welds that we was in earlier on, they're now redone. I've seen welded along here just because someone's drilled right the way through both parts of the metal there. It's just easier to weld down the edge. Everything, like the inner wings, I've given them a nice coat of underseal, trying to stop the rust. And as you can see, across the top of the scuttle, fully welded. Seam sealer there, more under seal on the other side. Bonnet's in quite a good position. Let's just pop that down for you. That's more or less central there. I'm quite happy with where that's sitting. I'm just going to bolt the wings back on tonight, put the airbox on, maybe tweak that slam panel, then I'm going to call it a night, because that is near enough 10 o'clock where I am. That's going to be about 11-12 by the time I'm done. If I can get the headlights sitting in position as well, that's a massive bonus. I've just noticed I've brought two odd ones over. I've got one with an orange indicator and one with a clear one. Okay, I'm going to get this done, and when this video carries on, it will be the next day, and we're going to look at doing the bumper. Alright, this is me calling it a night for tonight though. I've got the wings, the bonnet, scuttle, inner wings, the wing supports, all of that is secure and welded. I've just popped the old mirrors back on for now until I sort out the wiring for the new electric ones. The headlights are just popped in the holes, and just got one screw in there just to hold them, just really so they're not laid on the floor. And tomorrow I'll be putting that front bumper on, making up the cross member, getting that all sorted. We've still got to find some A-pillar trims and the scuttle trim, which I didn't get with my conversion, but there's a few other minor bits. We should have a bracket there for the let me just prop this bonnet up while I point these bits out. Right, we should have a bracket that goes from there upwards to support the windscreen wiper motor. I'm going to assume that the pipework for the power steering is different, probably a bit longer to go onto this bracket. It's a little bit short, might be able to stretch it and get it on there. The ducting that goes to the front of the airbox there no longer fits because that won't clear the headlight. Don't know if the Mark 7 airboxes are different, something I've got to find out. Washer bottle is now just pushed to one side. That doesn't fit either. We're going to have to find a Mark 7 one of those and make up a mounting bracket for the expansion tank, or again find the right one for the Mark 7. Locking mechanism still not on there. I didn't want to put the bonnet catch on because I'm lifting it up and down constantly, trying to sort out panel gaps and make everything nice and pretty. This toe and eye has got to be cut off. That's just interferes with the new bumper. Notice there I've got wiring hanging down for fog lights, so they'll be getting fitted. Alright, You're swapping your Mark 6 to Mark 7 headlights. You've got to alter a few wires in the plug. What we've got to do is take this white cover off, and then we need to move the black wire from pin 1, and they start at the top there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're moving pin 1, the black earth wire, over to number 5, which is an empty slot on the headlight plug. Then we're going to take the orange feed, or orange and yellow on the driver's side, and we're going to put that in the slot that we've just emptied. And that will make all your functions work on the Mark 7 lights. This white insert just pops out. Not that easy, I've already unclipped it, but I don't know if you'll see this on the camera, but on there is 2 arrows at the top, and they've got to be at the top of the plug there where the clip is. So the arrows are lined up with the clip. Now I'm going to pop out one of these pins. To do that, right down in the bottom of the plug there's a little bit of bent brass that holds it in, that clips that in. So we're going to push that in and pop it back through. Okay, that's that pin pulled out, just there. That was in that top left. Then flip the plug over. There's a little white blanking bung that needs to come out, and this will go in that hole. I'll salvage the wire out of a scrap loom, so I'm going to pop that into number 1 there. Then we're going to extend it and put it onto the indicator wire in there. That's our wire joined on. Let's put some solder on that. That's that one joined. So we'll slide some heat shrink over that. There we go. Just shrink that on there. Nice. So that is our wiring done. We'll just put a bit of tape around there, tidy everything up, and that's this side done. Same again for the other side. And this is the finished product. I may have skipped a few steps that I forgot to show because I was having a bit of trouble with the crash bar. I've got a broken clip behind there which I've ordered. We'll get that tidied up as soon as that arrives. Still got the A-pillar trims and the scuttle to put on. A few little brackets. But overall, not bad fitment. Just got to find the right lock for, or work out how to change the locks over for my key. In the meantime, that will just be a screwdriver. But there we go. Mark 6 to Mark 7 conversion. Clean up and paint to follow.